Today we're going to talk about your typical front-wheel drive, front lower control arm bushings. Alright, we have some examples here. Here's an OE example. Front lower control arm rear bush, vertically mounted, meaning that it has one pin going straight through the bushing, keeping the control arm to the chassis, often also holding up the subframe to the car as well. Now, we've seen very recently that these are coming through in a lot more vehicles and they're failing very, very early in their service life. Some vehicles as low as 14,000 kilometres, new model vehicles. We have a selection here of Toyota, Corolla, Yaris. i30 uses this as well, your Hyundai i30, but mounts this way. Front lower control arm, front bush, rear bush. Okay, so very similar ideas and concepts we've seen on previous models of like Daewoo and things like that failing very early. Now, if we see failures so early, why did the OEMs do this? Why did the original equipment come with vertical mounted bushes? Well, it's about saving time and money. This uses one single bolt, whereas other versions use aluminium extrusions, multiple bolts, nuts, washers, and somebody has to put all that together. So why do we want to point out that this is a problem in the car? Well, because with our bushings, we can try and rectify a lot of these issues. Okay, with our bushings, the polyurethanes that we use are very, very high grade. They still allow for deflection and shock absorption within the bushing. It is not solid urethane. There is voiding and scalloping to allow this bush to move in certain directions. So when this is in the vehicle, what we get is a deflection like this. This is our normal driving type deflection. Okay, so we're still allowed for this bush to move quite easily this direction. But what we've tried to do is minimise, not completely stop, just minimise the amount of deflection. So when you hit a bump, this bush doesn't stop, your wheel is outside, you hit a bump like this. We try to minimise the movement there. Now the other advantage that we have is that, as you can see with that bush, we can also do on centre and offset bushings. What this allows us to do is change the caster setting. Now we can be tricky and do it on both sides, but normally we would only do it on the left-hand side of our vehicle. Now in Australia we drive on the left-hand side of the road, which means we fight the road camber. Road camber is like this. Okay, so we're typically on the lean of the side of the road. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to add more caster to the left and keep the right-hand side standard to help the car drive straight without having to do silly things like change camber and tow or pump up the left-hand front tyre, which is a really, really silly thing to do. What that allows us to do, say we have the lower control arms here, front left, front right, we can put the offset bush into this point and that just moves the wheel forward slightly. We're only talking a third to a quarter of a degree of caster, and that's all we need to make the car drive nice and straight. Okay, so for more information on our vertical mounted bushes, front-wheel drive, typical front-wheel drive bushings, please visit our website, nolathane.com.au. Along with the design, the upgraded urethane, please don't forget our limited lifetime warranty on all our bushing components now for Nolathane.